psychosis. You think I'm ready to be back in public again? You need me to hide myself, 'cause I can't show you anything else. Just put that all away and pretend for me. 'Cause when I put that mask on, I'm not human anymore. 'Cause when I put that mask on, I'm not human anymore. I'm a kiss until you die, die, die. 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 I'm frustrated, over-medicated. You got me feeling like no one really cares. You need me to hide myself, 'cause I can't show you anything else. Just put that all away and pretend for me. 'Cause when I put that mask on, I'm not human anymore. 'Cause when I put that mask on, I'm not human anymore. I'm a kiss until you die, die, die. I'm a kiss until you die, die, die. I'm a kiss until you die, die, die. I'm a kiss until you die, die, die.
All right, and we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? Am I coming through loud and clear? I am indeed. How is everybody tonight? Joey, Robert, Jeff, Video Manon, James, Dave. What's up, Dave? Super Dude, Zombie Collector, James Hester, Dan. What's up, Dan? Nico. How's it going, Nico? Sean Sr., how's it going? Very cool. Glad to have you all here with us tonight. Going to have a fun little live stream tonight with my good buddy Garrett from Born to Be Rad. Now, this all started when Garrett posted a video over on his channel, Born to Be Rad, talking about movies that needed a physical media upgrade. So I decided to do kind of a video response, which if you've, that's old school YouTube right there, video responses. And I did my own video talking about movies that I felt needed an upgrade. So if you've not seen that video, I would highly recommend it. And if you're not subscribed to Garrett's channel, Born to Be Rad, you should go do that immediately. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Garrett on. What's up, man? How's it going?
What is up, man? I'm doing well. How are you doing, man?
Doing great, man. It's cool to have you on the channel. If you're familiar with Region Free, you've seen Garrett on many episodes of that with his Blu-ray roundup segments and stuff. So yeah, cool to have you on live to talk about movies and shoot the bull.
The Rad Report.
The Rad Report. Exactly.
Yeah, man. It's great to be live finally. That's great stuff. Again, I heard what you were saying about my video and your video talking about movies that needed to be upgraded. And one of the reasons I was like, you know what, maybe is a good time to do this now is because, man, like the physical media world has been so on fire like the last couple weeks. It's like it's hard to keep up with sales and drops and all this other stuff. And some things are starting to drop and getting upgrades on 4K and Blu-ray that you kind of like, oh, well, it's kind of about time, but it's like everything's coming out at once. It's almost like these labels are like battling with each other, like who can release what, and because it's all dropping bombs at the same time. It's nuts. Like, so you're getting, Halloween on 4K, which again, I'm sure you guys are going to talk a lot about tomorrow on Region Free, but Severin just announced like Drop Dead Fred, which is one that like has been MIA for like years out of print. And then Alone in the Dark just got announced too, which is one of the ones I talked about in my first video. So I'm like, you know what, let's talk about a little bit more of what could be a cool upgrade, considering these companies are trying to one up each other with all these news.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we were talking about this before we went live. A lot of the movies that were on my last video about movies that need an upgrade haven't gotten that upgrade yet. However, I did a video a few years ago with a similar theme, and just about every movie on that list now has a Blu-ray or a 4K. So we're seeing fewer and we're seeing more of those really sought after titles finally jumping to Blu-ray and 4K. You mentioned Alone in the Dark. That was one that, I don't remember if I mentioned it in my video or not, but that's one that, has is long overdue for a Blu-ray. Right. So really, really cool to see that movie coming out on Blu-ray. Hey, what's up, Stone? How's it going, buddy? Hey, Selmer Slasher, what's up? Chris from Berlin, Germany. How's it going? How are things over in Berlin, Germany?
Oh, what's up, man?
Yeah. Jurassic John, what's up?
Can I give a shout out over here? And I'm seeing people in the comments run through, and a lot of these names I don't know. So what's up, everybody? Thank you guys for popping in. I see Deadpit on here. I know those guys. What's up, man? But I want to give a shout out. Where did he go? I just saw him. Pat. He says he's from Mass, man. That's my area. So what up, man? That's my buddy.
That's my buddy Mike. Yeah, from the Boston area.
Yeah, so, man. Yeah. Pat's Bo Sox 81. Sweet 81. Mm-hmm. That's me too.
Mm-hmm. And there's I'm guessing that's CK from Dead Pit. What's up, fella? Or what's up, fella? Sound like Seamus over here. What's up, Lord Brian? So yeah, we're going to talk about. We're going to take turns talking about some different more movies that we think deserve a physical media upgrade. And I've seen some people throw out some ideas in the chat. Actually, 2 people have requested Spice World. I didn't think that was a, hey, Spice World, the Spice Girls movie. Okay. Everybody.
I've actually never seen it. I've never seen it. So I'll tell you that. I've never seen it. I don't even own it.
Geez. But yeah, a lot of people's bank accounts are going to be wrecked if they're not already wrecked. I mean,
I hear you.
A lot of releases coming out, and yeah, you're right. We will be talking about those new Halloween 4Ks tomorrow on Region Free. So if you guys haven't subscribed to Region Free, definitely do so. Well, Garrett, I'm going to let you have the floor, man. What's a title that you think deserves a physical media upgrade?
All right. So again, what's up, everybody? I see everybody jumping in and saying hi. I saw Jay Lemer in here. What's up, man? He's from my area too. So what's going on, guys? All right. So I grabbed like 7 titles here that I think need upgrades. The first one I'll talk about now. I'm not sure what people are going to think of this one. I actually really like this movie. It's a horror movie. And I thought when it first came out, I was like, wow, what a cool movie. And it's not one that people really talk about. And to me, I'm kind of like, man, this has Scream Factory written all over it. But I don't know why this isn't out. I think it may have a Blu-ray release, maybe in another country. But let me know what you think of this one here. Wolf Creek. Remember this, Gem? Wolf Creek? Remember that movie?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this has a Blu-ray upgrade at all. I think this is it. This is all you got right here, and it's got a couple special features on it. But I thought this was a really cool movie. I think I saw it twice when it first came out in theaters. Super cool. I know the sequel has a Blu-ray, but I do not think this one does at all. So let me know if it does, and maybe I just kind of overlooked it. But that's always kind of a cool movie that I feel like Screen Factory would be jumping all over.
Yeah, I'm surprised that doesn't have a Blu-ray, to be honest. Does the sequel have a Blu-ray?
It does, yep.
Huh. I wonder what's holding up
I
part
think
one.
what happened was that sequel came out like when Blu-ray was in. So like this came out before Blu-ray was really big. So I know that the sequel came out when Blu-ray was already, the main format. So I don't know. I don't know what's holding that one back.
Yeah.
But yeah, let me know what you guys think of that one.
Jan Man says Wolf Creek has a UK release. Is it Region B locked though? And I saw my buddy Dave said that he pre-ordered all 5 of the Halloween 4Ks, $197. Yikes.
Yikes. I'm sure you guys might mention this tomorrow, but I inquired about that pinball machine.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't have room for it, but I was like, you know what? That thing is so sick. I'm going to make some room for that thing. So I inquired, like, when does it go on sale? How much is it? Dude, $8,000.
Holy crap.
Oh, I was like, what? Like in my head, I'm thinking I'll tap at $2,000 for this thing.
Yeah.
It's $2,000 down. And then, to make it. And then at the end of the day, it's $8,000. And I was like, oh my God, like it's craziness. I think the horror the community of ballers or something like that. I can't keep up.
Geez, I guess I can't imagine dropping 8K on something like that. I mean, geez, that's.
Oh, my shit would be on the lawn, dude.
My shit would be on the lawn too, because I wouldn't be able to pay my mortgage payment. I've got this awesome pinball machine under a bridge with me. I'll be playing it,
Yeah, my wife would not be too thrilled with me.
Jeez, oh Pete.
No new kitchen. We're getting pinball.
Yeah. So I will throw out there a title. I'm not cool like Garrett and actually grabbed like the DVD or even the VHS to present here. But the movie that I'm really hoping, the rumor is that Vinegar Syndrome is going to be releasing this one sometime in the fall, and that is for Invisible Maniac. Anybody out there seen Invisible Maniac? Early 90s slasher flick, directed by Riff Coogan, aka oh goodness, I've completely forgotten his Adam Rifkin, yes. But really fun, sleazy. It's like a slasher sci-fi kind of hybrid, but it's more comedic and sleazy than horror or sci-fi.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
I've never seen it, but you mentioned it to me before, and yeah, I never saw it. I've never.
That's because it never made the jump from VHS to any other format for some reason. No idea why. So that the rumor is it's coming out from Vinegar Syndrome. Somebody's putting it out on Blu-ray in the fall. It seems like Vinegar Syndrome would be the perfect home for it. So we shall.
Yeah, it definitely does for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And it doesn't seem like anybody in the chat's seen Invisible Maniac either. So it must be pretty obscure.
It definitely is obscure, man, because again, I never heard of it before. So where did you say you used to rent it? Is that what you kind of saw, or would you see it on TV?
I heard about it somewhere. I don't remember exactly where I heard about it, but I bought the VHS many, many years ago. Came out in 1990. It currently sits at a 3.9 out of 10 on IMDb.
Wow.
It's better than that. Yeah, it's definitely worth looking into. I wouldn't be surprised if the whole thing's not uploaded on YouTube, to be honest, but it's probably, VHS quality. So,
right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Go ahead, man.
Well, before I start, I actually saw somebody say something in the chat here about a movie called The Hunted. Now, I know there's a couple movies called The Hunted. I know Scream Factory put one out as well, or Shout Factory or something. I know there's a couple movies called that. And the reason I'm asking is because this is so funny. There's these sisters that I know, and they always tell me that one of them's husband was like, oh my wife and her sister like the weirdest movies, like stuff no one's ever heard of. And I'm like, oh come on, I've heard of it. Da, da, da. What is it? And they said, oh, their favorite movie is a movie called The Hunted. So I'm like, they're like, we used to watch it all the time on VHS, and I'm looking it up, and I'm like, I don't know, I can't find it, what movie you're talking about, because I would show them like, is it this one? They're like, no. I'm like, is it this one? They're like, no. So if someone's talking about a movie, The Hunted, that is like not available, write down in the comments a little bit more about it. I'm curious about this movie because I couldn't find what they were talking about, and I'm usually pretty good at that stuff. So it's like a really obscure movie.
I think
you know.
I think whoever posted that said it's the one with Tommy Lee Jones that came. Is it the William Friedkin movie? Did that one not get a Blu-ray? Because that's a really. I saw The Hunted in theaters when it first came out, and I really like it. I know it got a DVD release because I own the DVD.
I don't know which one they're talking about. It made it seem like the one they were talking about was like a very like no-name cast, because I saw one that like I kept showing them different ones that were more mainstream that I could find online, and they're like, nope, not that one, not that one. I'm like, which one is it? Like, so I'm just curious if there's one that's kind of obscure that isn't like a mainstream one, like not the Tommy Lee Jones one. There's another one that I think Scream Factory or Shout put out, and it's not that one either, but it could be, definitely for another day, other time. But shoot me a message or something, guys. Let me know, because I'm curious about whatever this one people are talking about. And I see Justin Ryan. What's up, brother?
Yeah, what's up, Ryan? How you doing, man? Yeah, Wander This World. He says The Hunted I'm referring to is the 2003. Okay. Yeah, that's DVD only, no blue. Yeah, that's weird. I really liked The Hunted. Yeah, odd that one's and that's a major studio release. I think that was a Paramount film. So wonder why that's not ever made it to Blu-ray.
Yeah,
that's unfortunate.
This next one is one actually you just talked about it. What did you just do? A stream or something, right? Did you just stream last night?
No.
No. What did you do? All right, so whatever stream you did, you mentioned it, and I said, dude, stop talking about my picks. All right, so this one is cheerleader camp. You mentioned it the other day, and I had already started picking on my stuff, and I'm like, oh, he already knows what I'm going to choose, which then I thought you would choose it. But I always liked this one. I always used to kind of watch it with Sleepaway Camp. Cheerleader movie. It's got oh my God, what's it? Betsy Russell in here, so Golden with her. And I love the Anchor Bay release, but I think it's one that I'm surprised hasn't hit blue at all. And Scream Factory is the label that I would think would be all over something like that. So if anybody else is a fan of Cheerleader Camp, super 80s, and it's cool for what it is.
Yeah, I agree. I've actually got, let's see. I've got one kind of middle of the road slasher movie that I'd call it, kind of a not a great slasher, but there's definitely a lot worse slashers out there that have gotten really nice Blu-ray releases on my list. And Cheerleader Camp would be right there too. I think actually Cheerleader Camp's actually a lot better than the one on my list. But why is there no Cheerleader Camp Blu-ray? And that one was one too that thing was on USA Up All Night constantly.
I think that's where I saw it. And again, look at dude, how iconic is this artwork, man?
I had that poster on my wall when I was a kid.
So good.
Yeah, I wish I still had that poster. It's probably worth money these days, but yeah, I mean, that's definitely a fun one. Let's see, Leif Garrett is also in that one.
Yep.
Some very lovely ladies, Betsy Russell, and
what's her name there? Lucinda Dickey.
Lucinda Dickey, yes, that's who I was trying to think of. Lucinda Dickey. Yeah. So
between Betsy and her, I mean, that's a win-win.
That's a win-win. There's no doubt about it. Let's see what's next on my list here. I've actually got a twofer here. I think these two movies could make a perfect double pack on Blu-ray. I have no idea why neither of them are on Blu-ray, or at least have an American Blu-ray, and that's Alligator and Alligator 2: The Mutation. Great Robert Forster movie, the first Alligator. And let's see who directed that. Was it Lewis? Yeah, Lewis Teague directed it.
I don't know why that one's not out. At least the first one. I don't know why.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, why is that not out on like the only even the only DVD that I'm even aware of is like this really horrible quality DVD that's out there, and it's not even worth purchasing, really. So both, and even Alligator 2, The Mutation is not great, but it's still a lot of fun. So I could see Scream Factory doing like the 2-pack for that one. And yeah, just really fun movies. Like, what's funny is I like I was talking to Brad Henderson when I had him on the stream, and I've talked to other people who do, like William Lustig about, licensing movies and stuff. And it's like, why hasn't this movie made it to Blu-ray? Why hasn't that movie made it to Blu-ray? And it's always like the dumbest answers. It's like, well, some major studio owns that, and they either don't know that they own it, or they don't care that they own it. Because they're not going to license it to you. They're not going to license it to anybody because it's too much work on their end, to be putting the paperwork together or whatever. So it's like these movies are just going to die. These movies are just going to die.
And that sucks. I mean, and you know what the thing is that DVDs are great. And, man, I mean, that's where my collecting was at its biggest, was during the DVD era. And I love all my stuff, and it's hard for me to even, get rid of some, but when it comes to space and stuff like that, you've got to start cutting bait when you've got multiple editions and stuff like that. But I just find that the quality between a DVD and Blu-ray is huge, and a lot of the times it's even bigger. Like, I say this all the time, Tourist Trap I was never a fan of based on the DVD. It was always really dark, and I could barely see it. I was like so bored with it. And then I got the Blu-ray, and it was like watching a whole new movie again. And I freaking love that movie now, because it almost felt like the first time I really could watch it. And I had hated it for so long, and I only bought the Blu-ray because I was like, well, you know what, maybe I can actually see what the heck's going on here. But I haven't really found a lot of that same kind of drastic change between a Blu-ray and a 4K. So at least to get some of these DVDs out, and now they're just jumping Blu-ray and sometimes going right to 4K, like Rad and Drop Dead Fred, and they're just giving you a Blu-ray with it. But I'm fine with that. But it's just, a lot of these DVDs are great, but some of the quality could definitely improve for sure. So
yeah, and especially when you're talking about like Rush Week, for instance. Rush Week had one of those, like, it was like the first wave of DVDs, like when they came out in the way late 80s, early 90s. So I mean, it was just a bad DVD release. It was like, it had like DVD-ROM features on it or something like that. When was the last time you saw a DVD with DVD-ROM features? That's how old it was. So there's still a lot of movies that they had a DVD release, but it was like in that era, and it's just a bad DVD. So
exactly. And that's what I like about these companies coming out and restoring a lot of these movies, because it just gives you a whole new appreciation for them. I love Rush Week now more than I ever did, because like you said, I had the DVD and it was like the most generic, DVD. I don't even know what company did it. I just look at the cover art and it looks like bargain bin, like garbage,
Yeah.
And buying the Blu-ray now, it's like, it gives it a whole new life and appreciation. So that's what I like about, a lot of those type of movies, getting this kind of treatment and, kind of giving it a brand new, fan base and stuff like that. Like who was talking Rush Week before they got Vinegar Syndrome to put it out? Nobody.
Like me.
It was sitting in the back of my DVD shelf, and I think I might have put it in once,
Yeah. That's one that I talked about a lot because I loved that movie. And another one that used to be on USA Up All Night all the time that needed something better than what it had. And, thank God for Vinegar Syndrome to give that to us. What's up, Brendan? How you doing, man?
Sure. Brendan, what's up, man? There's a lot of good stuff coming through here for sure. I'm kind of checking the comments out as we go, and there's a lot of good recommendations. But like Piz said, like a lot of what people are talking about are on the first two videos that him and I did about this. So definitely go back and check them out, because we do talk about a lot of what people are jumping in now with, for sure.
Yeah. I've noticed a lot of those titles too that we both covered in our earlier videos. But, yeah, go ahead, man. You got the floor.
All right, so this is going to be the first like non-horror one. It's a favorite of mine. It's one that, you know, I'm like, why doesn't this have a Blu-ray release? I think it's going to jump Blu-ray and go right to 4K for sure. I don't know the deal. I don't know who even owns it. Let me see here. I can't even see, so it's dark. But anyway, it is Encino Man. And where is this thing, and why is this the only version of this we have, which's got no special features on it at all except like a trailer? So where is Encino Man? I'm trying to see who owns it. Is it Hollywood Pictures is what owns it. I don't even know what company put this out though, but this is it. This is all we got. Where's Encino Man? Who likes this movie?
I love Encino Man. Jeremy loves Encino Man. So I mean, that's a good question. That's you know, that's another one. That's one though where, because I think Hollywood Video went bankrupt, and I think they may have been like a subsidiary of Disney. So that's maybe locked in the Disney vaults, and Disney's like, you know, we're too busy with these Marvel movies. Who cares about Encino Man?
You know what? You might be right on the money with that. I mean, a part of me was thinking to myself, well, you know, all of a sudden Severin's releasing like Drop Dead Fred and Overboard. I'm like, is this going to be the next one they're going to like somehow get their hands on and be like, you know, we're going to release Encino Man? Because it seems like in the same vein as like a Drop Dead Fred type thing, which I would love if they did. And I'm actually going to Boston Comic-Con, and Brendan Fraser is going to be there, and I'm getting my Encino Man one sheet signed, so I'm excited for that.
That is very, very cool. Very, very cool. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'd like to meet Brendan Fraser. His story is really interesting because, like, you know, he was on top of the world, and then something happened to him, and he just kind of, you know, he just kind of,
you know what?
fell off.
I don't even know his story. I have no idea. I know he was really big around that time and did like George of the Jungle and all this other stuff, and then he just kind of vanished.
Yeah, I mean, he was like a huge star there during all those Mummy movies and stuff. He was a huge star, but then, you know, he started, you know, the star started to fall. He did some bad movies. Then there was like a sexual harassment thing.
Oh, okay.
Not where he was the harasser, where he was the harassee.
Oh yeah.
And then he ended up having to have like a major back surgery. All the movies where he was like screaming his lungs out destroyed his voice. So like he doesn't even hardly sound like he used to. Then like his mother passed away. So it's just all these things just snowballed to, you know, but he's kind of making a comeback, which is cool. So
yeah, I had no idea about any of that. So yeah, that is interesting because he did go through a lot. What was that other one he was in? Like, was it like Bedazzled or something? What was that other one with?
He did. Yeah, he did a bunch of movies that just Bedazzled. There was some kind of, what was it called? Something monkey, and it went nowhere.
Yeah. What was that? It was like an animated monkey or something, wasn't it?
Yeah. So
I do remember that.
But it is really, I think it's really interesting that a company like Severin is licensing Overboard and Drop Dead Fred. So, but more power to him.
I mean, I like it because I just think it's an interesting avenue. And to me, it's like, I jumped on both of those just because I'm like, it's so out there. Like, who knows if this is going to even, like, if they're going to test the waters with some of these and be like, yeah, let's stick to horror. So to kind of have some of those additions would be kind of neat. Monkey Bone, Jay Lima. Thanks, brother.
Yeah, good job. Yeah. All right, I have got, this is an interesting one because it's a Roger Corman produced film that he actually remade like 2 years later, and the remake is far more, it was far more accessible for a time than this one. Now that DVD is out of print and goes for big money. But I'm talking about Dance of the Damned. It's a Kat Shea movie.
Yeah, I know. Yep.
I think it may have been her first film. But Roger Corman produced, low budget, but really well written, really well acted. And for some reason, a couple of years later, Corman decided to basically remake the movie and call it, what did he called it? I don't even remember. But it's a good movie too, just not as good as Dance of the Dead as I recall. So the lesser remake is out there or was out there, while Dance of the Dead never even jumped from VHS to any place else.
So Dance of the Dead that I'm thinking of is gonna be the remake then, because I'm thinking of one that came out probably in like the 2000s.
Let's see.
So I might be thinking of like, and it's actually a pretty good movie, but if you're talking about one that's older, that didn't even get onto a DVD, then I don't know if I've even seen it.
Yeah, Dance of the Damned, it came out in 89. And what was that other one called? I can't even, something, it's something of the vampire or something like that. And it's far, it one time was far more accessible. It got the DVD release, but Dance of the Damned never did. And yeah, cool little vampire movie, low budget, but you know, like everything that Cat Shea did back then, I mean, it turned out really well. And yeah, unfortunate that it's never made the jump to any other format, probably on YouTube, but in that VHS quality too. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but Dance of the Damned.
There's a lot of good stuff coming through here I'm seeing right now. A lot of these things I have on DVD that I just have totally forgot about, like Best Friends of Vampire, like totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
I've watched that a long time.
Joe Reese says To Die For needs a Blu-ray. I remember To Die For. I remember its sequel, To Die For 2. Both of them are on YouTube. I see Justin mentioning My Best Friend is a Vampire. Yeah, that one got a pretty decent DVD back in the day, as I recall. But yeah, that one needs a blue. I would pick that up on Blu-ray for sure. Yeah.
There's another movie. I don't know why I can't think of it off the top of my head. It's there's actually 2 horror movies with the same name that came out, I think, in the 80s, I believe. One's a vampire movie, and I think one's kind of like a zombie movie. It's called Night something.
Nightlife.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Now, I don't own any of those like anywhere, but I remember those were ones that people were talking about even back in the day when DVDs were the big thing of like movies that either needed additions or maybe they were long out of print or whatever. But does anybody have seen those or if those are good?
Nightlife, the vampire one with Ben Cross. I remember, I want to say that it was like a made for USA kind of movie thing. And I remember it being really good.
Yeah, that's what I always hear.
Yeah. I don't know if it would hold up, but that's one that it got a VHS release and that was it. Now the other one,
said it was,
go ahead.
Did you say that was the vampire one was more of a made for TV movie?
I think it was. I think it was like a made-for-TV kind of thing. For some reason, I seem to recall it being like a USA Network premiere kind of movie. So I may be wrong about that, but that's my memory from way back when. And I remember it being good. So now the other one, I don't think I've seen the other one.
It's got a cool poster. It's like orange and it looks like zombies. It looks very 80s, it's got a real cool poster. And I've always been really intrigued by it and be like, where is this thing? I would love to see it. I'm sure it's on YouTube. I just never have gone on my way to watch it. But if you,
thank you, Loki Vision Films, for the $5 super chat, sir. Am I the only one who is waiting for Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead on Blu-ray and Scream Factory treatment of The Hand That Rocks the Cradle? I was actually going to add Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead to my list. It didn't make the final cut, but I was going to throw it out there at the end if nobody else did.
Yeah, that's a good one. And I'm surprised. I thought Hand That Rocks the Cradle had a Blu-ray, but I guess not. I thought for sure, but
yeah, wait a minute, didn't Scream Factory do that?
I don't know. I think.
Let me check and see. For some reason, I thought it did. Maybe I am mistaken. The Hand That Rocks the Cradle Blu-ray. It did get a Blu-ray release. It looks like it's a kind of a budget-looking release. You can get it on Amazon right now for $9.99. Let's see who released it. Came out in 2012. So yeah, it's an old one. But it is on Blu-ray and it's relatively cheap. And thank you to my buddy Stone for the $10 super chat, sir.
Thanks, dude.
As for classic horror, we are screaming for blue 4Ks for Ruben Mamoulian's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and Todd Browning's Freaks. Yes, Warner owns both, along with my favorite comedy of all time, Night Shift. What's weird about Warner is those Warner Archive Collection movies, those print on demand or whatever.
Right.
I think, unfortunately, those movies, like the slasher Killer Party, I love that slasher, but it's stuck on the Warner Archive Collection, and I don't think it's ever going to go anywhere else, unfortunately. And it deserves better.
Oh,
so,
definitely.
Thanks, Stone. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, and Todd Browning's The Freaks. Kind of surprised The Freaks doesn't have some kind of why hasn't Criterion come for The Freaks?
You would think that that's where it would go for sure. No question.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's see. I think I'm up, right? Am I up? No, I think I did. I think I did Dance of the Damned, didn't I? No, wait a minute. You did.
I think I did Encino Man, and then I think I changed the conversation to like that night, whatever it's called there.
Okay, we've only been going for about 40 minutes, and I'm already confused. So this is one that I've seen mentioned in the chat. I don't believe I talked about this one on my last video, but this is one of my favorite Stephen King adaptations and one of the most obscure, and that's The Night Flyer.
Dude,
with a
awesome.
Great performance from Miguel Ferrer. Really creepy vibes. And there you go.
It was on my list, man. It was on my list.
The old flipper case.
Oh, dude, that's okay. If you follow my channel, you know that's why I want this thing on blue, more or less. I hate this. I can't stand it. If I have a snapper case, I'll upgrade it to blue, even if I don't like the movie, just to get rid of this thing. I don't like it on the shelf. It doesn't flow, It doesn't flow and everything.
Yeah.
But no, great movie. I think the effects are cool for what it is. The vampire is super creepy. I love it. I love Night Flyer.
Yeah, it's a really interesting take on the vampire lore and just the look of the vampire, and that scene at like the airport where the vampires killed everybody and they're rising from the dead, but it's in black and white and there's fog everywhere and super freaking creepy. And I actually the writer and director of that film, and let me give him a shout out. Mark Pavia. He was actually working on a sequel to The Night Flyer with Stephen King. He and Stephen King were writing a sequel to The Night Flyer, and it just never got made. So not sure what happened there, what the deal was with that. But Stephen King is also a fan of The Night Flyer. And they were working on a sequel that just never happened. And that's unfortunate.
It's definitely underrated for sure, especially for his movies. I feel like it's not one that people talk about on a regular. And I just think it's a real cool movie, like you said, and the effects in it are really good, and the vampire looks cool, and definitely.
Yeah, it was like I believe it was an HBO movie. It premiered on HBO. So, who released that DVD? Was it Warner Brothers or?
It was New Line.
Oh, really?
New Line did, and it's actually an HBO. Yep, HBO home video. So again, is that have the similar problem as The Hitcher right now? I don't know.
If New Line has it, I mean, Alone in the Dark was a New Line movie that had never gotten.
Oh wow, okay.
So if New Line owns it, maybe Scream Factory can do something with it. I mean, it deserves it. So I would definitely. It's weird because even some of the lesser Stephen King adaptations, there's big followings for, and they've got really nice releases. It's just the Night Flyer's flown under the radar, unfortunately.
Yeah, it definitely has. Yeah, and Stephen King, a lot of good releases from him, and even ones I saw someone put in here. I'm not sure if this is out of print or not, but people like, what about Thinner? Thinner got a great edition from Olive. And speaking of that, like, is Olive gone? Like, what's they were like hot at one point, and I had like a bunch of stuff, and then they just kind of panned off. I think I don't know where they're at.
Yeah, I've not heard anything from Olive Films in forever. Are they still? Let's check out Olive Films Facebook page.
That was one of their first releases for that company, and it came with a slip, that and boogans with like slip covers and stuff. I have those, and I know the slips were really valuable at one point, because I think they were on like the first run, and then that was it. But yeah, it's Thinner has a cool edition if it's still out.
Well, Olive's Facebook page was updated June 28th, so I mean they are still active. I guess maybe they're just having issues licensing titles, or I don't know. But yeah, I've not heard anything from that. I'd forgotten Olive existed. So,
and they were like one of them first like boutique labels that I remember really popping out with some good stuff back in the day. And yeah, they've just kind of gone pretty dormant as far as what we're into, I guess.
Yeah, that's too bad.
All right, now I'm gonna jump on this just because I see somebody talking about it right now. Another movie that it's not a great movie, but at the same time it's a cool movie, and that's Prayer of the Roller Boys. And I know this is one of those DVDs that's really hard to come by, and it's got Corey Haim, and this to me looks like a Kino Lorber definite on this Prayer of the Roller Boys here. And I saw somebody in there already mention it, and the company that put this out was that company Maple, and it's a hard one to find. It always kind of was, but definitely cool Corey Haim flick there.
Yeah, I've not seen Prayer for the Roller Boys in forever. I think like Cinemax late night one night, 20 years ago. Last time I saw it.
So yeah, I saw a couple people mention that one in here, so I wanted to throw that out first. Big Corey Haim fan, so yeah, I think that one is one just because of how difficult it was. I don't know if it still is to get this. Would be cool for someone to pick it up, and if I'm just thinking off the top of my head, like what company would release it, I'm thinking like something like Kino or Scorpion or something like that would probably grab something like this.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of people in the chat mention Sorority House Massacre 2. And Jim Wynorski has been pushing for Scream Factory to release Sorority House Massacre 2 and Hard to Die in like a double pack because they're basically the same movie.
Yeah, but why wouldn't they? They did that to Slumber Party Massacre. Why wouldn't they do it for Sorority?
Yeah, I mean, Scream Factory, they have the keys to the Corman Kingdom. I don't know why they're not putting. I mean, that one's tailor made for one of those 2-packs like this Slumber Party Massacre 2 and 3. But for some reason, how about
instead of re-releasing things they've already done, they should go after something like that.
Not a bad idea. Yeah, not a bad idea. Yeah. So that's that one. That's those two. Why those two aren't out yet? But it's not for lack of trying on Jim Wynorski's part. So
yeah, I mean, I think it's probably coming. I mean, definitely, I think it's probably going to be around. It's just timing, and I think that's just one that they should focus on because there is a market for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I have got this is another one. This is another one of those slasher flicks. Like, why is it not out there? It got a big release from it was released by a major studio. I think it ended up on a flipper case DVD, and that's where it stayed. Is Dr. Giggles.
Dr. Giggles. You know what? That's funny. That's not out. No.
I think it may have gotten a Blu-ray overseas. I think it most likely got a Blu-ray. Yeah, it got a Blu-ray
that's
overseas.
That's definitely one that's someone's going to get that. I mean, I figured that would have been. Well, who's putting out all those movies? Because remember, it came in like a big pack. And another one that I don't think has a Blu-ray release, which I don't even have on my list here. Does it? Does Deadly Friend have a Blu-ray release or no?
Good question. Yeah, didn't Didn't Scream Factory do that?
I don't know.
No, it doesn't. It's got a overseas.
I'm thinking Deadly Blessing. You know, I'm kind of getting like mixed up. I don't know. That might be one to check out because I have like this box set and it's got like Giggles and Deadly Friend, I think, like in there. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else in that set that is out and who released it. And I'm almost thinking it was Scream Factory, but I don't know.
Yeah, I noticed that, Roland. Dr. Giggles was part of a Blu-ray 2-pack with the movie Otis.
That's what I'm
And
thinking of then.
isn't it out of print?
Random, though, right?
Yeah, like if random, you'd put that movie with a movie like Otis, but I
Right.
think that one's long out of print too, unfortunately. Thank you, Scatterbrain, for the $1.99 super chat. Night of the Twisters with Devin Sawa needs a blue. I'm not familiar with Night of the Twisters.
Me either.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it was
Like,
the Twisted Terror collection that I'm talking about. Yeah, so the Frank Costin said Twisted Terror collection is that DVD box set that I have that's got Giggles and Deadly Friend in there.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, why hasn't Dr. Giggles gotten a really good standalone Blu-ray? It's unfortunate. I mean, Larry Drake's no longer here, but I'm sure he would have done an excellent. Could you imagine a Larry Drake in character as Dr. Giggles commentary for Dr. Giggles?
Oh, so good.
That would be fantastic. Although he didn't do the giggle in the movie. There was an actor from what was that slasher movie Vinegar Syndrome just put out? Anyway, another actor did the giggle for Dr. Giggles. So
Oh, wow.
I thought that was interesting. But
somebody said, Dead Pit said he thinks Dr. Giggles is coming from Scream, but I don't know. I don't know if I've recalled seeing it.
Yeah,
but
that'd be good.
But I want to give a shout out to Stone Gassman in here because he just said my favorite Corey Haim film, Lucas, which I love Lucas, and he's going to get his out of print Blu-ray, which I didn't realize that Blu-ray was out of print, but I definitely have it, signed by Kerry Green, which is awesome, at New Jersey HorrorCon. Now, I didn't even know she was back on. I tried to get that something signed by her before COVID, I think, and then that must have all got canceled, and I don't know if she was not there or if the convention got canceled, but I didn't realize she signed back on, which is sweet. Definitely cool. Definitely cool.
What else have you got, Garrett?
I got two more here, but there's always plenty more we could talk about if people jump in. But this is another one that when I saw this, I thought this was really cool, and it's not one that people talk about often enough. And it's the movie Bug. Which came out in like the late mid 2000s, I think, like 2006. With Michael Shannon. Man, this is a killer movie. It's pretty badass, and I don't think it has a Blu-ray, and that definitely is another one that to me Scream Factory would be all over, and it's a Friedkin movie too, so I don't know.
Another Friedkin film. We mentioned The Hunted. Now another Friedkin film. Yeah, I remember really enjoying Bug. It was kind of it was based on a play, so it's kind of it's all contained to this dusty like hotel out in the desert, this crappy little hotel, and yeah, I remember enjoying it quite a bit.
Oh yeah, it's a real cool movie. Oh, cool. Roland said Lionsgate owns Bug, so maybe Vestron. That's not a bad one. Cool.
Yeah, that's an idea. Also, Darren Burrows mentions Friedkin's Rampage has not even. Rampage was on VHS for sure because I rented it on VHS, but I don't
even know if it has a DVD.
Yeah, I don't think it made the jump from beyond that, but I remember liking Rampage quite a bit. So another Friedkin film, Lost. Yeah,
let's get Bug out there.
Let's get Bug out there.
Let's get Bug.
Let's put a bug up somebody's butt until they get Bug out there. So I was talking about a kind of middle of the road. I was talking to Garrett we were talking about a couple of different slasher movies that hadn't made it to Blu-ray, at least in the States. And I was talking about this one. I didn't say what it was, but I said, it's an okay slasher. It's very kind of middle of the road. But it got a Blu-ray release from 88 Films years and years ago. So, and I think that one was Region B locked. Don't know why it's not on Blu-ray in the States. And that's Hide and Go Shriek. Again, not the best slasher movie in the world. I think it's an interesting slasher. But there are far, far worse slasher movies out there that have gotten really nice Blu-ray releases.
That doesn't have a Blu-ray at all? Here?
It's got it. No, it's the only Blu-ray that I'm aware of is the 88 Films one in the UK.
I'm looking over here to see if I see it. For some reason, I almost swear I have it, but I could be wrong.
Well, let me check and see. Maybe it recently came out.
Maybe Code Red. Try Code Red. And see
okay. That might have been a Code Red thing. Let me see.
It may have. I might be wrong, but a part of me almost feels like I may have that one because it has. What's his name there? The guy from Karate Kid, doesn't it? Karate Kid 3? Is he the one? Is that the one he's in? I don't remember.
Let me see here. Is this the okay, Blu-ray.com. There is a Blu-ray release for it. Apparently. I don't know if it's the Code Red one or not. But yeah, yes, it is the Code Red one. Yeah. That's Code Red. Came out in 2016. The thing is with
Code Red and Scorpion, it's like they come out and they're gone within like 2 months. So if you don't jump on it and you miss it, it's like you didn't even realize it existed. Like same thing with Solar Babies, which is another one that who would have thought that thing would have came and went? It's like can't find it for anything under like $60. And I'm like, what the hell? You know?
Yeah. Those releases, like you said, it's kind of like the oh God, what was that Twilight Time company? Like they just dared you to scalp their stuff. Like, oh yeah, they're good. We're limiting these, but you can buy as many as you want at a time.
Right.
So
that's what those things were really hot at a time. Like it was like as soon as those things were announced, you had to jump on it. They were gone. Like it's crazy. But then everything got re-released anyways. So whatever. Except, is that it? That's all we got for Fright Night, right? Just that?
No. Well, in the US, I think, yeah.
I mean,
there was a company in the UK that released one that released a Fright Night. I think it's region free though. But
talk about a hit on your list if you're going to release a huge edition of that. Like what's the deal? Like Arrow, Screen Factory, like why has nobody had a Fright Night box? Like I mean, I was talking about this the other day with I was on Ryan 1988's live stream, and we were talking about movies that we consider a masterpiece. Like, and you know, it's hard to say that word, and because you start thinking like Jaws and Rosemary's Baby and Exorcist and all these like big titles, but like when I think of a movie like Fright Night, like there's nothing about it that I don't love. Like everything from beginning to end, there was nothing I would change. There's nothing, and I just feel like a movie like that, like, is if all we have in the States is like a Twilight Time Blu-ray, which for that company, I don't even know if they're around anymore. Like, why has nobody picked this up and ran with this?
Yeah, no, I think Twilight didn't. I'm pretty sure Twilight Time closed up shop.
So why? I can understand Fright Night too. Sure, there's some issues with it here and there, but like Fright Night, like we're getting Halloween like every year. We're getting, you know, I have like these editions of Texas Chainsaw 2. I have these huge box sets from like Arrow and Scream, but like, why is Fright Night like not getting these big editions?
Yeah, and how did a company like Twilight Time end up with, because they got some big releases as I recall, and then
what about the Night of the Living Dead? Is that I don't think anybody else released that one, and people were pissed about it because they messed with the coloring, remember? And I don't think anybody's came back and justified that and released that on another one. No. You know,
Umbrella Entertainment in Australia did. It's a much better release, but that's Australian, and that one's probably not even in print anymore either. So, yeah, interesting. Give Synapse Fright Night, it'll look like $1 million. That's true, and I still have got, you know, I've begged for Fright Night 2 on Blu-ray for so long that. You know, I feel like I need to just stop and then it'll finally come out. Once I'm over it, then I don't know if I should say over it, but once I stop, like wanting it, then they'll give it to me. But
yeah, I mean, I hear you. I don't know why it's. I mean, again, there's speculations on why, but who knows? I mean, imagine a
yeah,
huge Fright Night box set with that one in there. Like, I mean, talk about something that's gonna, people are gonna go nuts for.
oh, I know. Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, Eureka, that was the company that released Fright Night. It's a UK company that released Fright Night. It's a really nice release. Mill Creek will end up releasing Fright Night too. Jesus, God no, God no! Don't even say that.
Let's hope not. That's where it goes. I'm sure there's people out there that'll pay bigger money for that release in their catalog at this point.
Yeah, I'm hoping Vestron will drop that one soon. Oh, go ahead, Garrett. What do you got?
I've got one more physical copy here, and again, like I said, we can definitely keep talking because I get some more in my head. But one of the other ones that I brought to the table here was a pretty cool movie, and again, I do not think this has a Blu-ray, and it is called Cloak and Dagger, which is a super cool movie with Henry Thomas from E.T. is in this, and I'm not sure if anybody has seen it. It's basically like. It's weird. It's like a video game type movie where, they talk about spies and these people want, this video game cartridge and stuff. And it's like a thriller, but it's super entertaining. And it's definitely a really cool movie that not many people really mention. And I'm surprised if this doesn't have a Blu-ray, which I don't think it does. Why? Universal owns it. And that's all it says on here. It's just a very bare bones DVD that I've had for years.
Yeah. And that's weird. I mean, I know that I wonder if some of these companies, they just don't know that they own these movies, or they don't care, or it's like they don't know they own them until another company like a Scream Factory or whoever comes to them and says, "Hey, we'd like to license this." And then they go, "Well, okay, but it'll be $1 million if you want it, So that's why it never happens. I do remember hearing Michael Felsher talk. This was on an episode of Dead Pit, I do believe, that one of his biggest frustrations with working with like the big studios was just getting somebody to put the paperwork together to do the licensing. That like, they won't even put forth that much effort to put the paperwork together to do the licensing. And so yeah, that's probably one of those movies that it's a paperwork issue.
Which is sad because again, and this is a real cool DVD, and it might be easy to come by. Quality is actually pretty good on it, considering it was an older one. But yeah, it's just one that I just don't hear about often enough, and I think it's definitely one that someone should grab for sure.
Justin Murad mentions Lady Terminator. Amen. Yes, Lady Terminator needs a 4K so that you can fully immerse yourself in the world of Lady Terminator. I have got a movie that I've actually seen a couple of people mention in the chat. This is my first non-horror and really the only non-horror movie on my list, and that is Summer School with Mark Harmon.
Good choice.
That is the movie that introduced me to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre back in the day because of the characters of Chainsaw, and what was the other guy's name? Was what, Grimm or something like that?
Oh man.
Yeah, the one guy's name was Chainsaw, and that's what introduced me to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But it's a really fun, 80s comedy. Carl Reiner directed. What was that character's name? I gotta look him up. No, Dave. Chainsaw and Dave. Also stars Shawnee Smith, Kelly Jo Minter, Courtney Thorne Smith, Ken Oland. So a lot of familiar faces in this movie. And just a really fun movie. Used to come on TV all the time. I try to catch it whenever it came on television. But still, regardless of what Mark Harmon does, when I see Mark Harmon, I see Ted Bundy because of the Perfect Stranger Ted Bundy television movie that he did. He was so good as Ted Bundy, so freaky. Doesn't matter what it is. I see him and I think
Wow.
Ted Bundy. So even in summer school, I'm like, Ted Bundy's teaching these kids what's going on here. Get him out of there. Yeah, really fun movie. Like get that thing on Blu-ray, man. What's the hold up there? A Paramount release from back in the day. It got a DVD release. I own the DVD. I don't remember if there's any extras on it or anything special. Just seemed like a bare bones release to me, as I recall.
It was very bare bones. Like even the cover art for it was kind of cheesy. Remember?
Yeah. Really, really unfortunate, but such a fun movie.
There's some people coming in here with some good stuff right now. Stone just said, and you know what? I totally forgot about this. He said that Cloak and Dagger was written by Tom Holland. So I totally forgot about that.
Nice. Oh, and it's the Deliberate Stranger, not the Perfect Stranger. I'm thinking of Perfect Strangers, the show from the 80s with Balky. I love that show back.
Opening theme though. That was such a good opening theme. Epic.
I loved that show back in the day. I loved Balky. Totally blew my mind when I saw the Balky guy in True Romance in a very non-Balky role.
Right. Yeah. That's
like,
so funny.
Balky snorting cocaine? No. No, Balky, put it down. But yeah, summer school. Give us some summer school, man. What do you got on deck?
Stone just said he was gonna. Where'd he go? I just saw him on here. He's gonna be watching Cloak and Dagger this weekend with a lady friend. I love it.
Very cool.
I love it.
Very cool.
Yeah, so I have nothing here. A lot of these cool ones coming through that I would love to talk about because I made a list and I was going through all my stuff and I was like, you know what, I could be here all night with some stuff that could use some upgrades, but I don't want to be on here for 3 hours and take up you guys' time. But trying to think. Okay, right here. So Robbie Venet, sorry. He mentioned Summer Camp Nightmare, which if you go back and watch my original video about movies that need upgrades, that is one I talk about. I absolutely love Summer Camp Nightmare. I don't know what the deal is with that movie. There was a point in time that it was announced on DVD, like, because I only have a bootleg of it. And I jumped on it and pre-ordered it from Amazon. And then I think like 2 months later, they canceled my order and the whole thing was like gone. Like it never came out, I don't think. I don't know what the problem was with it. I don't even remember who was going to put it out. But that is one that is super cool if you guys have not seen it. Super 80s. It takes place in a camp. It's got the dude from what's his name? Tom from Friday the 13th Part 6 there, Fridley.
Yeah.
He's in it. Super cool. It's a great movie if anybody hasn't seen it. But what else he mentioned here was Hunter's Blood, which I do own on, I believe, like a bootleg DVD as well. And that's one of my uncle's. My uncle's really big into horror. He got me into horror. That's one of his favorite movies. And he says to me all the time, find out why Hunter's Blood is not and man, I don't know why it's not in there, but I don't hear many people talk about that movie.
Yeah. Not many people do talk about that movie, but there is, every time I talk about movies that need a Blu-ray or just an upgraded physical media release, there's always Hunter's Blood always gets thrown out there. So I mean, there is an audience for Hunter's Blood. Not sure what the deal is with it not getting a release, but yeah, I remember it being a fun movie. I'm sure it's on YouTube in its entirety somewhere.
For sure.
But yeah. I am posting the link to Garrett's channel, Born to be Rad, in the chat right now. You guys should definitely go over and subscribe to his channel if you have not already. Pablo Papano, thank you for the $5 super chat, sir. Julie Carmen said at a con video she was Vamp in Fright Night 2. The producer was father of Menendez brothers who killed him. Rats are complicated. Yeah, I've heard some interesting tales about Fright Night 2. The murder of the Menendez brothers really has nothing to do with that movie not being on Blu-ray. I don't know if I can even. What I've heard is much darker. Well, not quite as dark as murder, but pretty dark too. I'll tell you off the air, but that's one of the big reasons why the movie didn't get the release. It's the big reason why the movie didn't get the release that it was supposed to get back in the day, and maybe one of the reasons why it's not on Blu-ray yet. So I don't know.
Did I ever tell you? I think I might have mentioned it to you. I also did a full Fright Night retrospective, one of my first early videos, just because I love the movie so much. Yeah, I did tell you how I acquired that DVD that was like so sought after for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to a video store when, like, back in the day, when I realized that, like, I saw it at Best Buy a couple times, and I was like, oh, I'll get it eventually. And then it was just gone. And then I went to like a convention, and everybody was like talking about it, and then I was like, what's the deal with this? And everybody like, oh, you can't get any more of this, that, and this. So I went to I went to all different video stores and found one on the shelf, and basically just told the guy, listen, I'm never going to return this, so just tell me how much I owe. And that's how I got it. So I just took it right off the shelf. It was a Blockbuster, and I got the case and everything. So, but that's how I acquired that. And I know it's just one of those movies, to get the actual edition, it's like so hard to do. And I know you, so the version that you have, right, it's overseas legit Blu-ray, right?
It's a Spanish release. It's legit. I mean, the picture quality is okay. I actually think I've got a bootleg DVD that the picture quality is actually a little bit better, to be honest. Okay. But it's the best physical media release. Yeah, I guess I'd have to say it's the best physical media release. I never saw that DVD that it got, but I wish I would have done the same thing you did, because it was at my local Blockbuster that is now, of course, long gone. I wish I would have just went in there and said, hey, I'm taking this. Here's $20. Don't mess with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I had to do. And it just goes to show, like, back then too, like, being, collectors of DVD and doing like the Tuesday hunts and all this stuff, and how much you were willing to go to get some of this stuff. Like, we didn't have the internet in the same vein. Like, I don't even think Amazon might have even been around like that, or at least it wasn't as big as it is now. I was using Deep Discount as like my primary source of online DVD shopping at the time. Mm-hmm. So yeah, like to have that availability to just go into a store and do it, like, I wish we thought about that more on other titles, that are probably long out of print at this point, that your video stores had everything. So to just walk in and basically be like, yeah, peace. I'm just going to save me a trip to try to hunt this thing down,
I did try to do that with Rad, because my favorite video store that I always talk about on this channel, the Ma and Pa store that had all the horror titles, they had Rad too. And, but this guy was too savvy, because they were going out of business. And I said they were selling different movies. And I was like, so have you still got Rad? And he goes, yeah, it's on eBay, $80. He goes, I'll sell it. I'll sell it to you. If you'll give me 90 for it, you can have it. And I went, damn it. So too savvy. He knew. He knew what was up. So
he was ahead of the game. Was that one of the places that was attached to a tanning salon?
No, that one did not have a tanning salon. I don't know. There was another one that was so funny. The video stores used to be video stores in this area. Then it was like some of them brought in other stuff. So like you could go to the video store, rent summer school, and rent a tuxedo.
That's so funny, man.
Or you could go to the video store, rent whatever, and go sit in the tanning bed for 30 minutes and fry your skin. And then later on, the video store portion of the store shrank more and more until you were basically it became a renting tuxedos or
that's so
tanning
funny.
salon. Yeah.
it just, it just goes to show on how different things are. Like just even where I'm at and you're at, like, we had nothing like that. Everything was pretty much like, we had Major Video was the big one where I lived. Then it kind of turned, all the major videos kind of turned into Blockbuster. We had Hollywood Video. We had some mom and pop shops around. The only cool kind of place like that was we had a place not too far from me called Pizza Pie Movie Guy. And basically it was like a pizza place and a video rental place. And you can kind of get both done at the same time. And when he was going out of business, he had like all of his stuff was on sale, but it was all VHS. I grabbed so much horror VHS from that guy when he was going out of business. But then sadly, I sold off like everything I had pretty much on my horror DVD stuff for like nothing. When I was getting into DVDs, I just needed space. So I think I sold, I don't know, maybe 200 VHS tapes horror for like $40 or $80 or something. I can't remember, but now I look back and I'm like, why did I do that?
Yeah.
That's why I'm kind of iffy about, parting ways with the DVDs, even though we're upgrading. It's like I just towed them up and put them in storage because I'm kind of like, I don't want to regret this again later because you can't get anything right now for them. So it's like you're going to give them away. And then who's to say there's not like this DVD resurgence where everybody wants to collect them? I don't know, but I regret the VHS thing that I did because you couldn't give those things away either.
Well, yeah, I mean, and yeah, you can't. Unless it's something really out of print, you're not going to sell a DVD for anything online. So there's no need to even try and sell them. Just put them in storage. That's what I do. Funny story though, my favorite video store, the one that I talk about all the time, when they were going through their downslope, they became a convenience store / video store. And the video they started getting DVDs. So the DVDs were all around the wall. And then there was like a little room in the back where they had the rest of the stuff. And then and the whole rest of the store was, bread and pop and cigarettes and you know what I mean? So they had like, now they went from being the best video store on the planet, in my opinion, to a crappy video store and a crappy convenience store. You know what I mean?
Right.
But they saw that video stores were going downhill, so they tried to diversify, but it didn't last for them, unfortunately. So
yeah, I say this all the time. We grew up in a pretty good time for a lot of different things. For that, like we kind of caught that at a good age. We were sadly there for the tail end of it, and I think a lot of us took it for granted a little bit at some points. And you look back on it now, you're like, man, like I should have did this or I should have did that. And even as a little kid, I still have a memory, and I could be so off with this, like, because I was so young and I just have this vision, and I've looked online for this and I cannot find it for the life of me. But you remember how they used to always have like the cardboard standees and all this stuff, like hyping movies and stuff. And the reason I'm going to bring this up is because, if anybody out there knows what the heck I'm talking about, let me know, unless it was a big dream. But I remember they had a Freddy hanging from the ceiling, and his arms were super long, like from part one. And it was like the arms were huge, and he was hanging from the ceiling. The arms were way out, and you'd look up and you'd see him in there. And I remember saying like, oh my God, who is that guy? And my mother told me his name was Freddy Fingernails. And she told me that and I thought that was his name for like years until all of a sudden I remember seeing the movies, and I was like, Freddy, like, where did she get that from? Because not once did they ever call him that in the movie, and that still is like embedded in my brain, is that standee of him with his arms like super long. But I don't know what it is. I don't know if it was like a Halloween decoration. I don't know if it was like a legit thing that came out when they were promoting the movie. I don't know, but I've looked for it. I can't find the damn thing. Unless I'm totally not remembering exactly what I was looking at. But
I don't remember anyone like that. I remember one of my, because all the video stores in my town were all ma and pa's. We never had a Blockbuster or a Hollywood or anything like that. So they would get like standees for like the Howling 4, stuff like that. Like I remember the whichever one has like the cradle on it. Like I remember that standee in the video store and thinking, wow, that's cool. That movie must be awesome. And then you rent the movie, you're like, what the hell?
right.
But yeah, I remember those old school standees. I mean, you can find some of those on eBay. And they're not cheap. There was one guy on eBay who I bought some stuff from. and he had a bunch of old video store stuff, promo stuff on eBay. And I messaged him and I was like, so you had to own a video store, right? And he was like, yeah, I owned a video store and I've kept this stuff in storage for so long and now I'm just trying to get rid of it. So I bought a few things from him, like the Friday the 13th Part 5 VHS standee with like the mask that glows and stuff.
Dude, that's been on like my bucket list for like grail list for so long, and it's just getting like the longer I don't get it, the more expensive it gets. Like I can remember looking at it online and being like, I don't want to spend $60 on this thing like back in the day on eBay. And now it's like if you find one of those, I mean it's a couple $100. No easy, you know. So
no doubt about
that's a cool piece, man. That's a real cool piece.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Let's see. I've got a couple of more things on my list here. I mentioned the and I've seen some people in the chat mention it too in my video response to your video. I mentioned Silent Night, Deadly Night 3, 4, and 5 need Blu-ray releases. Well, how about the Prom Night sequels? Why don't the Prom Night sequels have Blu-ray releases? I know Part 2 got a decent DVD a few years ago, but that needs a real. Prom Night 2 is really good, and I remember the other Prom Night sequels being pretty enjoyable slasher movies too. So I think they definitely need Blu-rays. As a matter of fact, one of the big rumors from maybe I think it was not the halfway to Black Friday sale, but there was another sale for Vinegar Syndrome or just a reveal. I don't remember. And a lot of people were like, it's going to be the Prom Night sequels. I don't know how that rumor got started. I don't know if that was a Dawn of the Discs rumor or what, but everybody was like, ooh, the Prom Night sequels, Prom Night sequels, Prom Night sequels. And it didn't happen, but those definitely need Blu-rays. At the very least, Hello, Mary Lou Prom Night 2 needs a sequel.
I think
or needs a Blu-ray.
I don't know the deal with that one, but that's one that I feel like everybody wants, and I don't understand what, like, who has it? MGM? Did they put out that DVD that was a decent addition that they did one year? I don't remember, but now here's another question: is 3 and 4 still kind of hard to get? Is it like way out of print, like that double pack, or is that readily available? Because I can remember being not being able to find it back in the day for so long, and I finally like was online trying to figure out how I was going to find this thing, and randomly Borders, which was like a bookstore that was near me, I saw one like in stock there or something like that, and I was like, what the hell, this thing's been out of print forever. And I remember just grabbing it, and it was almost like weird that it would still be at that place, but I didn't know if that was something that is sought after now, or if that 2-pack is still around, because I think that's all it got, right?
Yeah, that's as far as I know, that's what I've got. It doesn't seem to be too sought after, because you can get, here's one on eBay for $15.99. Here's one on eBay for $20.
Okay, so it's easy to get, yeah.
$24.99. So they're out there, $20, and they're not too expensive. So yeah, they're out there.
Yeah, there's some good stuff coming through. Stepfather 2, someone just said, which is a cool one. But does Synapse own that? Because I think they did the DVD for it, I believe. Because that DVD was out of print for a while, and I know Synapse put out a nice edition. I don't think on Blue. I think it's just DVD, but it could have hit Blu-ray too. But I don't know if they still own the rights. But Stepfather is another one where Scream Factory or Shout Factory put that out right before Scream Factory line came out. So that kind of was on the tail end right before they started, which would be another one that they should probably do another edition of. If that's not available anymore, it might be.
Yeah. Jan, man, I think that's probably something that we're going to discuss tomorrow night on Region Free. So if you haven't subscribed to Region Free, do so, because that's probably something we'll go into tomorrow night on that. Justin Morant says Girls Night Out. I agree. Not the greatest slasher in the world, but there are far worse ones out there on Blu-ray. So let's get Girls Night Out on Blu-ray. Also, I'll go ahead and spoil it. Tomorrow night on Region Free, the Creepy Kentuckian from Dead Pit will be on the show, and possibly Uncle Bill too. So
it's a big get right there.
Yeah, it'll be a fun episode of Region Free tomorrow night. So if you've not subscribed to Region Free, you should do so. There's Aaron in the chat.
Is that like you guys doing like a little like NWO type of thing, since it's like the reunion now? I think it's like how many years? They just celebrated 25, 30, I don't know, 35 years for the NWO. So is that what they're going to do? They're going to come invade Region Free tomorrow?
No, but
that would happen. It's going to be like an invasion.
That would be funny. That would be funny. Yeah. I didn't realize that the anniversary happened. Jeez.
Well, you better be careful, because they're going to you're going to be like, who's the third man?
Yeah.
And then Steve's going to pop up.
Yeah.
Half asleep.
Hey, Aaron, what's up, man? How are you doing? In Canada, we got the complete Prom Night series and a DVD box set from Alliance. That's cool. Are those pretty good quality DVDs? Any extras on those or anything? Greg Caldwell mentions Pin. Yes. How could Pin have slipped my mind? Movie. That is a great movie. Yeah, definitely needs a Blu-ray. No doubt about that. Yeah.
You know what I'm finding out looking at this chat on how many things that had a Blu-ray that are like long out of print now. I don't really, I have it, so I like, oh, cool, but didn't realize that it's just kind of come and gone, and now you can't get it anymore. I think someone just said Chill Factor. Is that the one that Arrow put out? Is it the same movie or is it different?
Chill Factor. That might be the one Arrow put out.
Arrow put one out called Chill Factor.
Oh, maybe, unless he's talking about the Chill Factor with Cuba Gooding Jr. and Skeet Ulrich from 1999.
About, I think. Yeah, it's different.
There you go. Pin is on my top 10 most wanted for Blu-ray. Yeah, great freaking movie. We very rarely hear anybody talking about that. Judgment Night. I agree, Robert. I like Judgment Night a lot. They need to re-release that on Blu-ray with the soundtrack too. They needed to re-release the soundtrack for that also.
Oh yeah.
So let's see if I've got anything else here on my list. I know I do. Actually, here's a couple of movies that I think desperately need 4K.
Sure.
And one of those is The Lost Boys.
Oh God, yeah. You know what? I don't know if it's true, but did you see there was a rumor saying that it was coming, and it had like a cover art, but it was the same artwork as a Fright Rag shirt. So I don't know if it was a fake news story or not. So
I think it was a fake one, but it got me excited for a Lost Boys 4K, because that movie would look so good in 4K.
Oh, so good. Even the Blu-ray still looks fantastic, and it's one of like the early Blu-rays that came out, and it still looks great. So a 4K would look super cool. Somebody else just jumped in here and said True Lies, which I was going to talk about that tonight. Definitely another one that I don't understand why it doesn't have a Blu-ray either. I actually bought an HD bootleg of it because I like it so much. But yeah, what else you got for 4K, man? Phantasm? Hell yeah, let's do it.
Phantasm? Sure, yeah. Then Phantasm got a 4K.
It was like a 4K master or whatever, or it was like
right.
Not a UHD, but it was very close. I mean, it looks amazing.
That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. Near Dark is coming to 4K. Second Sight Films is releasing that one. So that one will be region free, unless if it's got extras, the extras will be on a Blu-ray. That's probably region locked though. But yeah, looking forward to seeing Near Dark in 4K. That's long overdue as well. Dawn of the Dead 4K is natively region free, Matt. So that Dawn of the Dead release will play in any Blu-ray player.
Yeah, which is nice that 4K is region free like that. That's huge.
Yeah. I'm surprised. Actually, there was a rumor, and I hope it's just a rumor. This was a while back that these manufacturers were looking into region locking 4Ks, which I hope that's not I hope that doesn't happen.
But you know what's so funny is it's like, but why though? Like in a world where everybody's like, oh, physical media is on the way out, when you're in the physical media, like in the realms of that, like it's like hotter now than I feel like it's been in a real long time. So when you have these companies that are like, how much more are you going to sell if you keep it region free? Like that's the thing. I don't know. It's super weird time because, everybody's like, oh, it'll be dead by this year. And like, I mean, I feel like things are rolling hotter than ever right now.
Yeah, I mean, people have been predicting the death of physical media for how many years now? And I mean, we just keep getting more and more great releases. And yeah. I mean, if you want to support physical media, buy physical media. You don't have to buy everything that comes out or rebuy everything that comes out, but you need to support it. And I mean, yeah, again, this is particularly seems like a really good time for releases. We're getting some really great stuff from all these different companies, and I love it. It's my bank account's going like, what's wrong with you? But
it's true. There was a period of time where I was like, I've got everything. I know I can slow down now. And then all of a sudden it's like this happened and all these boutique labels are coming out of nowhere and they're packaging things so nice and making things seem very more collectible and throwing extras in there. And, then all of a sudden like, FOMO kicks in and it's like things are selling out and then you can't get them. It's like, it's crazy. It's just, it's a weird time right now.
Yeah. I think isn't True. This might be a rumor too, but isn't True Lies hasn't James Cameron blocked that movie from making it to like Blu-ray?
Why? But
Is
why?
that I don't know. I have no idea. Do you watch movies on PS5? I don't actually have a PS5.
Me either.
I did watch some 4Ks on an Xbox One S, but it's not the best 4K Blu-ray player. Put it that way. It wasn't intended to be a 4K Blu-ray player, and it's not the best. Get a 4K Blu-ray player over your Xbox One.
Well, one thing we could chat about really quick, and it's I'm just curious on anybody's thoughts. This is not a movie that I was even really a fan of at all. I own the DVD. It may have a Blu-ray, but I was just reading an article, and I'm sure you probably read it too, that Wes Craven's The Cursed has like two other cuts of the film that are very different than the one that we see or that we've seen. Like things were rewritten, and there was scenes they had to redo, and they weren't happy with the original way it was, and there was a lot of like gore stuff that was cut out. And I think that they said that some of these are now somewhat people are seeing them somewhere, and I would love to kind of get an edition of that with all these cuts on it, because again, I saw it in theaters, hated it, bought the DVD for like dirt cheap because I was a completionist at the time, and that's all I have. And it's probably been, I haven't watched it since the year it came out, and it was one of those ones where what I remember I didn't like, when that wolf chucked the bird, I was basically done. I was like, I can't do this anymore. And but to know that there's more out there, I would be into an edition where you could watch this movie in different ways and kind of see it in a different light.
Well, when I had Patrick Lussier on, he of course edited Cursed.
Mm-hmm.
There are there's three versions of the movie. There's the one that they originally started with Williamson's script. They didn't finish it. And then they went back and started doing reshoots, and they did recastings and all that jazz. So they shot a bunch more footage, but they didn't finish that one either. So then they went back, shot more stuff, recast more roles, and that is the Curse that got released. Now, I asked Patrick about, because I think I just straight up said to him, like, I want to watch these. Can you send me these? And he's like, well, I've got them on VHS. They're not finished. Wow. And then he goes, actually, I let somebody borrow those, and they've not given them back yet. Wow. So they're VHS quality, and they're not finished. So there's two unfinished versions of Cursed, and then the one that we got. And
I'd be interested to see, even if they could splice it somehow, and finish it like with just, I don't know. I'd just be curious to see like what it could have been, and what it was.
yeah, I asked him, I said, well, which one was the best? And really he said none of them are great. He said it was a really weird project where like nobody's heart was in it. Like Williamson's heart wasn't in the screenplay and Craven's heart wasn't in directing it. And it was just, they threw a bunch of money at him. And so I think he said his favorite version was the second one. That one had some promise, but then they didn't finish it. So both of those.
Were they looking for Scream with a werewolf movie with was that what they were looking for? Or is that kind of what we got? Like, that's what I wasn't sure if was that the game plan with Wes the whole time, or is that just kind of the sign of the times and it was like that's what it ended up becoming?
Yeah, I think that's what they wanted, bringing those two back together, but that's not what Williamson wrote. And then what he had written, they sort of realized, oh, well, this isn't very good. And like, what they'd filmed wasn't quite working. So it's just funny because Lucier said, when you have a problem, the answer most of the time is to just throw more money at the problem. Right. So they just kept throwing more money at this project to do more reshoots and recast more roles and do more rewrites, thinking that eventually they'll hit that lightning in a bottle again with Craven and Williamson, and it just never happened. So
I don't know who thought that the wolf chucking the bird was a good idea, but
yeah, I have no idea.
Didn't really help.
No
help much. But yeah, I mean, another one that's kind of in the same vein, I think, is like the Super Mario movie, which is kind of in a weird spot where people are coming out now saying that there's new footage that is being released. So I don't think that has a Blu-ray release. So to maybe get something with this new footage involved, I'm down for that.
Yeah. The Black Forest Cake, May, is a movie that was on I mentioned it on my video response to Garrett's video. That's why I didn't bring it up, but it definitely needs a Blu-ray. May is a great freaking movie. Let's see. I actually had one more that I think needs a 4K, and that's Dario Argento's Deep Red. That's such a beautiful, beautiful movie. Why does that not have a 4K yet?
I'm sure it's coming.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, no doubt. Because it has a pretty nice Blu-ray. I think Blue Underground might have did one, and maybe even Arrow. But so I'm sure it's on its way. Yeah,
Arrow did one that was a 4K master, but kind of like the Phantasm release. Yeah. But yeah, that's such a beautiful film. I think it would look, just stunning in UHD. May has a solid German Blu-ray, says Jan Man. Germany gets a lot of. They've got the 84 Media. They get a lot of really great releases that have like the busts, or they do like the media books and stuff.
You have a couple of those, don't you?
I've got a bunch of the media books that they released for Friday the 13th movies. I recently got the Evil Dead one that's got the woman.
You do have that. That's a cool thing with the statue, whatever. That's super nice.
Yeah, I wanted that for a long, long time, and I was like, screw it, I'm gonna get it.
Yeah, that's really nice. And someone mentioned in here, which is pretty cool. It does have a really nice edition, but I think it's really long out of print now, which is Extra. That's a super cool movie, and I know people I saw it in the chat, but it does have a real cool edition, but it could be out of print, and that's probably why people are wanting it. But if you guys haven't seen that, I would try to find that one.
Rock Central HQ says Second Sight confirms that The Hitcher cannot be done on 4K due to missing elements, but are at least bringing. I thought it was because didn't they announce that it was going to be a 4K at first, and then they said that they.
I think the issue with that was that nobody knew if it was going to be region free. So I don't know if they announced a 4K, because if it was 4K, I assume we'd all assume it was region free. But I think the real question was, is it going to be region locked? And I have some stuff from 88 Films that is not region locked, and I have stuff that is region locked. So, and they're all Blu-ray. So I don't know which avenue this is going to take.
Yeah. I don't know either. That kind of sucks.
Definitely.
I did learn one thing from my conversation with William Lustig about 4Ks and stuff. You can't just put any movie out on 4K. You could and call it and do it in 4K, right. But it's not going to look like a 4K unless you have the negative or an interpositive. So I've noticed some people in the chat mention different movies that I know that the negatives are lost, or the negatives are, people are searching for the negative, but they can't find it. So like Lustig mentioned the Prowler, because a lot of people were like, the Prowler, we want the Prowler on 4K, the Prowler. And he's like, we can't find the negative. We don't even have a good interpositive. We could do a 4K, but it's going to look just like the Blu-ray, maybe even worse. Mm-hmm. So,
well, isn't that funny that, you know, you can't, but you see some of these editions and you're kind of like, did they just slap 4K on like UHD? Like, for instance, like, how did Vinegar Syndrome get rad? Like, how did they get that? And then all of a sudden in a month, another company's got it, right? Granted, it wasn't a 4K, but at the same time, you're kind of like, it just was very odd that after all this time, they would be the ones to get that. Whatever, like, would get that footage or that to convert it and all this stuff. And the same thing with like Severin, like they've got the stuff to do Drop Dead Fred on UHD. Like, I mean, they have those negatives, and that's just, it's just weird to me that these smaller companies like have the access to that stuff, you know, to these, especially like Drop Dead Fred. Like who owned that movie before that would just say, oh, to the small company, like, yeah, take it and make a UHD with it.
Yeah.
Like who had that? Because that was like in theaters. I mean, that was like a big release.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. Yeah. They can't find the negative for Dog Soldiers either for some reason.
Really? Didn't they just announce that? Did somebody just announce Dog Soldiers 4K? I thought.
I know Dog Soldiers is, I think Second Sight may be doing Dog Soldiers too. But if they can't find the negative, it may not be a 4K. So. What about 8K?
Let's not go down that road yet.
Let's not go. Let's not go down that road yet. Let's not. I don't think enough people have adopted 4K yet to introduce 8K. But yeah, and I don't want to have to buy another player, another TV. So
yeah, I mean, I pretty much said what I had here. I mean, there's more if we talk about. I mean, I'm just happy that people were very lively in here throwing stuff out. Great stuff for sure.
Yeah, we've had a lot of great suggestions from the chat, and again, a lot of the stuff, if we didn't mention it, I'm sure we talked about it in our videos that we did. So check those out on my channel. It's called Movies That Deserve a Physical Media Upgrade. And what was the name of the video that you did on your channel?
It was an earlier video, and it was I think like underrated movies that need upgrades or something like that.
Okay, I'm going to put Garrett's YouTube channel, the link to it in the chat again. And if you guys haven't checked him out, go check him out, subscribe. And he's got lots of cool content over there, and I'm sure lots more to do.
But you guys, I'm sure, will have a lot to talk about tomorrow. So definitely excited to check out Region Free, because it's been a crazy couple weeks, man. And I'm sure there's a lot of debating that can go on with what's been going on.
Yeah,
sure,
yeah. Tomorrow's Region Free will be interesting. So if you've not subscribed to Region Free, definitely do so. Yeah. Hey, Jill, what's up? Yeah, Jill subscribed to Born to Be Rad yesterday. Cool. Very cool. Dream a Little Dream, says Rusty James.
Woo! Love Dreaming a Little Dream. You know what? It doesn't have a Blu-ray, does it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah. Good call.
Loki says Ernest Scared Stupid needs a Blu-ray. Let's get all the Ernest movies on Blu-ray if they're not already on Blu-ray. Let's get them on. Let's get a Ernest box set. Hospital Massacre didn't. Oh yeah, he did say Hospital Massacre was on a 2-pack from Scream Factory, but it needs a collector's edition. Leprechaun, a Leprechaun set. We got a Leprechaun set on
There was a
DVD.
There was a
Was it a
Blu-ray
Blu-ray?
box set. Yeah. I
Oh,
have
that's
it over
right.
there.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I forgot about that. I didn't pick that one up.
Now you missed it.
Did not pick that one.
Wait for the 4K box set.
That's
you just
it.
Hold off. Yeah.
8 for those movies. I need 8K. I need verified 8K for those movies.
Yeah, Kindred's doing. Somebody asked if Kindred's doing the Blu-ray. Synapse doing Kindred. Yes, it is.
Yes, Synapse is. They've been working on the Kindred for. Don's been working on the Kindred for a long time, but it's finally about to come out. So, Slam Dunk. Ernest needs a 4K. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I've actually never seen Tobe Hooper's Night Terrors. It's one of the few Tobe Hooper films I've not seen. I've heard really bad things about it, but if it got a new release, I would definitely pick it up. The Fly needs a 4K. The Cronenberg Fly, yes, absolutely needs a 4K. No doubt about that. Last Slumber Party. That's a bad movie, but I would, if it got a Blu-ray, I would buy it because I love it for how just bad it is. It's bad.
Definitely Vinegar Syndrome.
Oh yeah, Vinegar Syndrome would roll out the red carpet for that one. Such a and I'd buy it and I'd eat it up. I'd eat it up. I think we've pretty much covered all the bases. We've been going for 1 hour and almost 42 minutes talking about more movies that need physical media upgrades. We covered a lot of bases, and hopefully if we look back on this stream in the next year or two, most of these movies that we talked about will have gotten those releases. Yep. And at the rate that companies like Scream Factory and Severin and Vinegar Syndrome and Synapse are rolling these titles out, hopefully that's the case. So
well, they're gonna watch this and then they'll be like, oh yeah, you're right, I do need to release Bug.
Yeah. Well, actually on Vinegar Syndrome's website there's a section where you can recommend movies for them to release.
Oh wow.
And they seriously, like Brad was telling me that, like there's a section on the side. If you recommend a movie for us, we'll look into it. So
oh man, that's killer. Okay, it's good to know.
Yeah. Let me do some shout outs here. We had a few super chats. Oh geez. This is only showing me one super chat, but we got several. Pablo, thank you for the $5 super chat. And that's the only one that YouTube is showing me that we received, but I know we received some others. I know Stone sent one in. If you sent in a super chat, thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see who's still with us tonight. We've had a very, very lively chat. You guys have been great in the chat, keeping it very, very lively. So let's see. There's my buddy Dave from New Jersey. Dave, your Part 7 hockey mask is boxed up. It's going out tomorrow.
Ooh, he does good stuff, guys. I got mine right here.
Irvy, Rocktober Blood got that Blu-ray release. Don't you remember that one? It was top-notch Blu-ray release on that one. Anyway, we won't go down that street. Greg Caldwell, thank you. Brian Trash, Wander This World 97, Jilly, Chris Muirman, Dr. Shanker, Kevin Dudley, Hunty Likes Movies. Nice. Scatterbrain, Robert Long, Jimmy the Saint, Joe Stradamus 75, Justin Murad, Joe Reese, my buddy Nico, of course, CK from Dead Pit hanging out in the chat. Let's see who else was with us. Rusty James, Entertainment Wizard, my buddy AJ from Jan Man Chronicles, Robbie Venat, Lopke Vision Films sent in a super chat. Thank you for that, sir. I appreciate it. Let's see, anybody else? New World Disorder. Nice. I like that name. All right, but again, thank you all for hanging out with us tonight. This has been a really fun stream. We'll do more. Check out Garrett's channel and check out the Region Free tomorrow night over on the Region Free channel. So you guys take care. Garrett, always good hanging out with you.
Hey, man, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it for sure. And thank you, everybody, for coming to chat with us all night. I appreciate that too.
Yeah, right on. And until next time, you all take it easy, take care, and peace. And keep physical media alive.
That's right.
There you go.